All right, I've known Kelly Rizzo for a very long time. I'm so excited to chat with her. She's a Chicago native. She's coming to reality TV. There's a lot to catch up on. And Kelly, it is just so great to see you.
Oh my God, Rudy, this is such a treat. I am so excited. Can I just say, I don't know if you know this for sure, but you got me my first ever live TV segment.
I do remember that. I do remember that. And that's why I
I
was
just didn't
always
know if you
grateful
knew
when
that
you
that
came
was my
back.
first, but that was my first. So
Yeah, no,
thanks to you, you started it all.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so grateful and so happy for like everything we're able to do together and everything you've accomplished since. And it's just so great to reconnect with you.
Oh, thank you, Rudy. Thanks for having me.
Um, of course, you were just at John Stamos' 60th birthday party. Your outfit looked incredible. The party looked incredible. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so that man who does not age has turned 60. And so, everyone's all night was like, it's not fair. Like, how do you look so good at 60? But yeah, it was such a fun party, obviously 60s themed. Everyone came in like everyone was dressed to the nines and all the crazy patterns. It was either like the Austin Powers 60s vibe or it was like the hippie 60s vibe. But yeah, they had this great like Beatles tribute band, and then some of the Beach Boys were there, and then they had just a big huge jam session, and it was fun.
And even like he didn't even take a day off to like celebrate his 60th birthday. He even got on stage to sing with the Beach Boys.
Yeah, he can't not. I mean, it's like one of those things that I would always say about Bob, that it's like if there's a microphone in the room, like he's going to get on it. Like even if he wants to relax and chill, it's like he can't pass up a microphone, just like John can't pass up a drum set or a guitar.
It's like it's here and the Beach Boys are here and we might as well do it. Your outfit, did you already have that or did you specially have to go buy something 60s inspired for this party?
That was called Amazon. That was a 2-day Amazon delivery. The boots I had, and those are my like normal rotation boots. They just happened to work really well with that outfit. But yeah, I did my hair and makeup and kind of made it work.
You made it work.
I need to double check with my mom though and make sure that she approved, since that was like her heyday era in the 60s. I'm like, was this authentic enough?
That's the weird thing about me getting older, because you're not getting older. I'm the only one getting older. Is sometimes when there's something from a specific decade or a specific time period, and if it's not like correct, like you get, like I'll tell you this: I went to a cycling '90s class, and I was so excited, but the instructor was probably 22 and was playing music from like the early 2000s, and I was like, "This isn't
Oh,
'90s. I came here for '90s," and I was like, "I shouldn't get worked up about these things," but you do.
I do that too. Or when you see like kids nowadays are trying to dress 90s, I was like, that's not how you would dress in the 90s. And the music also is, I mean, I'm so good about 90s music. Like you can name any album, and I was like, September 94. Like I know like when the album came out or like when that song was popular. And so don't try to pass off, like Third Eye Blind song from 2001 as like 1998. It's just not, you know?
Even though they got popular in the '90s, it's not a 1990 song.
Right, exactly.
We're also going to see you on Special Forces Season 2 coming onto Fox on September 25th. There's no prize given for the show, it's just the experience. Tell me a little bit about getting that call and becoming a part of the show.
So my agent had pitched this to me, and at first I was quite unsure. But then when I saw the trailer from season 1 and how well done it was, and how it's not, because I'm not like a reality show kind of person. Like I don't watch any of the reality shows. I would never have really, it's not something I like participate in. Um, just because first off, Bob was very anti, but also, like personal drama. Like, I'm like, no, I don't. It's not my thing. But then when I saw that this show is done in such an elevated way, and it's truly about, I mean, number one, it's paying so much respect to the military, to the Navy SEALs, to the special forces, like British special forces also, which is very important to me because have so much respect and admiration for the military, as well as I've always been fascinated by, I mean, like G.I. Jane was one of my favorite movies. Like I like one day I was like, if I ever get the opportunity to do any of that stuff, like I'm in.
Okay.
So when I saw how well done the show was and just how, it's not salacious, it's not like, it's really does focus around number one, the military aspect, but then also your inner, finding your inner strength and your inner and outer strength, and tapping into that, and also like really seeing how much you can handle, how much abuse, like physical abuse, how much mental abuse, how much verbal abuse, like seeing how much you can really handle. And that was appealing to me, like being like, everyone's been telling me like, you're so strong, you're so strong, and I'm like, am I though? Am I like, can I, maybe I can do this. So I gave it my best shot, and I love that there's no like eliminations and there's no voting. Like you go until you can't go anymore. And I told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to quit. I am not quitting. I will go until my body breaks or like I'm injured. And like that's what happened. I went until like I physically couldn't go anymore, and I thought my body was like just a pile of mush. Um,
Well, we get to see you go to New Zealand. It's cold, but it's cold here in Chicago. So, I mean, how do the winters in Chicago compare? I mean, obviously, you're not doing the same activities, but as far as like doing just different activities in the cold, how did it compare to
It
New
was
Zealand?
not, I mean, it was in like, let's say the high 30s, maybe sometimes like when it was sunny, like low 40s. We had one really rainy, cold day that was in the 30s. So I mean, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't like 10 degrees like Chicago. So in that aspect, I was fine. However, when you go from summer in California and then you're there, which is like kind of a, messes with your head a little bit. Like my body should be in summer right now, you know? And I'm hate the cold. I don't care. Everyone's like, but you lived in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, and I hated it. And that's why I moved. Um, so it was a little scary for me because being in the cold is out of my comfort zone. But they do dress you properly for the occasion. It's not like they're like, okay, it's 30 degrees, here's a t-shirt and shorts. You're really dressed properly. But it doesn't matter how properly dressed you are when they're throwing you into a frozen lake that they have to chainsaw a big hole of ice. They have to like cut a huge hole of ice, like a hole into the ice, frozen pond, and then they throw you in there. And you have to fully submerge yourself and then compose yourself when your body's shaking, and then recite. They have to ask you questions of these things that they made you memorize the night before. So that was crazy. And there were a couple times where they forced you to get wet in freezing cold water. And then when you get out, it's freezing cold. And you're not like in a bathing suit, you're in your combat boots, which then are cold and wet until you get to dry them. I mean, it was a lot. It was a
It was
lot.
well, yeah. Tyler Cameron, Blac Chyna, Tom Sandoval, JoJo Siwa, Nick Vile, Brian Austin Green are also part of the series. What we were able to see from the trailer is that especially when they're having the discussions with the different stars that are there, is that everyone's going through some kind of healing process or trying to overcome something, and you see kind of what's going on. And is that part of why you wanted to do the show as well too?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely part of it, that, I wanted to just have this deep, intense emotional experience and see how I'm able to handle it. And I think ultimately I was able to handle it pretty well. Ultimately, I'll say I'm very proud of myself, but it was a very special experience to be able to bond with so many of these people who have gone through some really, really hard stuff. And I think what you don't see in the trailer as much is us, really bonding and having special moments where we were all there for each other. And I mean, some people were, there for one day, and some people were there for the duration. And even for people, like there are people who I only was really spent like 24 hours with, that I got along with great and had great bonding experiences with. I mean, obviously without saying the exact amount of time I was there, but let's say, in a several day period, of, the whole show I was filmed in, it's just like 8 days. Like it's not like a 6-month thing. Like people really bonded even a very short period of time.
Oh, exactly. Did you know anybody else going into it, or was it a surprise as far as like other people who were all on the show and getting to meet them there for the first time?
Oh, the only person I had met before was Nick Vile. We had we have because he's lived in Chicago and we have a mutual friend, and so I'd met him a couple times, but we'd never really like knew each other. And then some of the other people, we had like a lot of mutual friends, like Brian Austin Green and Jack Osbourne. But yeah, everyone in terms of like I was going into it with I didn't really know anybody. Nobody really knew each other.
I cannot wait to watch the series. One because of you, but also seeing everybody else's challenges that you never know what someone's going through. And you've been very public as far as some of the times when you miss Bob or an anniversary or something when sharing it, but you don't necessarily know what everyone else is going through.
Yeah.
People can only assume, and I feel like this is giving people an insight as far as the healing process that people are going through while filming.
Yeah, every single person on the show um was going through, or at least most, I would say, was going through some difficult time or some loss or something that, some people publicly knew. And then sometimes, even if it was like the loss of a parent, that nobody really knew about, that, they opened up about that.
You mentioned that you moved out of Chicago because of the winters that you enjoy your winters there in California. Are you hoping to come back here sometime before it gets a little too cold?
Well, I'm back. I think, like I'm back a lot because, my whole family's there. So
Yeah.
I was there 4 times in July. Literally, I was there like 4 times in 1 month. That's not typical. Um, but I usually try to come back at least like probably once every 6 weeks or so. But I think the next time might not be until like Thanksgiving, just because I'm moving again. And so, with moving and with other travels and stuff, it's might be difficult. But I do try to get back to Chicago as much as possible and spend as much time there as I can with my family and friends and everything.
I love Windy City Smokeout, and we've never crossed paths. We always go on separate
What?
days. Yeah,
Oh,
that's so crazy. I was
I
like,
hate
next
that.
time. Yeah, it's so fun. I was like, that's the first time I go to like a festival that I was like, the food's just as incredible as the lineup.
Wow. Well, they don't mess around with the food. I mean, number one, it's because it's, let us entertain you, and Bub City are the people putting it on. And obviously, they're some of the greatest restaurateurs and chefs in the world that run it. So, of course, they're going to bring in the best barbecue chefs and the best food from anywhere.
Speaking of food, I want to ask you because I go back and watch the video and it always seems to pop up, probably because I watch it so much. The Nutella and blue cheese grilled cheese sandwich.
People freak out about that. Somebody brought that up to me yesterday. It's so funny.
It is my favorite to make. Number one. And number two, I think it's introduced me to two foods that like I never thought about putting together. But is that the one that you get asked about the most, or is there another like
Yeah.
salad or dish or
No, I get asked about that all the time. And kudos to you for actually making it and actually trying it, because so many people get freaked out by it, or they're like, oh, it looks interesting, but they don't actually go and try it. So good job, Rudy, for you. But yeah, it's so good. It's so unexpected and it is so good. And I mean, it's not something you necessarily want to eat every day, but um, for a little special treat and try something unique, or maybe impress some friends, like next time you have a little party, you could cut them into like little mini squares and it'd be like a little appetizer.
it works as an appetizer or a dessert, a main course, a snack, you name it. Like it's good for any time.
See, you and we're on the same page.
What other recipes are you cooking up right now? Because I think you're just so creative, and that's why we end up working together. The very first time, and so many times throughout the years. But I love watching your videos because I'm always like, Kelly has just an incredible taste, and I just know if she's making it on her social media that
Let me
I
give
cannot
you
wait to
a
make.
let me give you a sneak peek. I have a list in my phone here of ones that I want to make that I haven't made yet. So here, I'll run a couple by you and you tell me what you think. How's that?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, I have ooh, a chili oil and provolone grilled cheese,
Yum.
right?
I like a little spice. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, ooh, mini banana pancakes with Nutella cream, like a Nutella whipped cream.
Ooh. I've never heard
right?
of that before. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I've been seeing people they dip banana, like a little circle, a little slice of banana into pancake batter, and then they make it like little mini pancakes. And so it's like a little mini pancake with a banana in the middle. But I thought of doing that like with making like a Nutella whipped cream to like drizzle on top.
And it has
Um,
banana in it, so it's healthy.
exactly. Let's see. Sicilian chocolate avocado pudding, a mezcal Bloody Mary, strawberry peach basil mojito. Any of
Yeah.
these resonating with you?
Yeah, that sounds just like summer. Like I don't want summer to end. Like that drink just
Right.
sounds like
See,
perfectly
some of
like
these
summer.
were kind of summary. A Mediterranean veggie burger. I might do that. A mushroom bolognese sauce.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
you just got a sneak peek into something I've never shown anybody is like my notes app and like the my running list of potential recipes.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. When you come back home, do you, family, friends, everyone, like, do you go out to eat, or people are like, Kelly, you make all these amazing dishes. Like, let's stay at home and cook.
So I'm kind of picky about, I really only like cooking in my kitchen where I have all of my stuff because like, and I hope my mom, I'm sure she'll see this, but sorry, mom, in advance. Like when I cook at her house or even my sister's house, like they don't have like great knives or like great pots and pans, like they don't have all the stuff that I like. And for me, cooking is like a full 360 experience. And unless you have like all the proper utensils and equipment, I just feel like that helps make the outcome better, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't like to cook at other people's houses. Like I'll do it, but I don't like it.
But also, too, like, you know where everything is at your house. So you can open up a drawer, you can open up a cabinet, and there you have to ask
It's okay at
because
my parents. I could do it at my parents a little bit, but it's still not the same.
still not the same. I just saw you were, this is the last thing. I saw you were in Vegas recently. There's so many big shows. We got U2 coming up. We have Kylie Minogue coming up. Lady Gaga's over there. I mean, is this a great time, especially if you haven't been to Vegas in a long time, to go ahead and check out the city?
Absolutely, because there's always so much more to do in Vegas than just gambling or just even being on the strip. Um, I really want to go to my next thing. I want to go back next month, the end of October, for it's called the When We Were Young Festival. Do you know about this?
No.
Like Green Day, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, like all like I think is Blink 182 there and it's basically every huge band that was big from like like Offspring from like mid 90s to like 2005, like all of
All in
those.
one place. Oh my God. I hope there's
It's
still
like
tickets still available. That
it's like
sounds amazing.
50 huge bands. It's called the either While We Were Young or When We Were Young Festival, and it's like end of October. But that's I want to go back there for that.
Because especially all those artists you name, it's like if I'm having a stressful day or a bad day or want to celebrate good times, like you hear one of those songs, you sing it at the top of your lungs, and you just feel better. Like you just feel
Exactly.
like complete.
Exactly. So that's my next Vegas trip. Hopefully, is for that festival.
It's after that festival. Kelly, it was so great to catch up with you. Let's catch up
Alrighty.
again very, very
I
soon.
know. Anytime, please.
Oh my goodness, you're the best. Eat Travel Rock. Go ahead and give her a follow there on Instagram. And Special Forces Season 2 premiering September 25th on Fox. And Kelly, we'll see you in Chicago very soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rudy. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.